Hello, beautiful community. This week it was raining all day, and I thought I would spend the day in the shed. I couldn't be outside, so might as well be in the shed. I had a few different things I wanted to do. I didn't have a special project to do on this day, but I had a few things to finish and a few things to tidy up. So I got the fire going. Got it going fairly hot. I didn't have any mistakes to put in the fire today. I haven't been making many mistakes lately, luckily. I've still got some elm wood that I got a few years ago from the local hospital. One of the trees fell down during the storm, and I had the tree at work, and I ended up, it was hollow inside. I was going to slab it into slabs. We ended up cutting it into blanks, and I brought some of it home, and I've had a lot of it sitting at work, just drying over the last 6 months or so. I've been bringing it home slowly over time. These pieces are the last lot that I've got from work. And what I've been doing is I've been cutting them up and then turning them into cylinders and putting them on the shelf just to let them dry again for a little bit longer. And there's a few I've been putting on the bends or just to make into bowl blanks. And I've made quite a few bowls. I've roughed out a few bowls from the elm wood, and they're sitting there as well. So I've got different size blanks there that I'm been turning. Of course, I've got a lot of shavings at the end of the day. So I finally finished those today, which was great. I filled up the shelf with all different sizes. So I hope to make some Christmas bells out of them and a few little ornaments for the market at some stage. So I did have one of the elm bowl blanks that I turned a week before, and I let it sit for a week. I'd soaked it in tung oil and I let it sit. So I put it back on the lathe and just cleaned it up, gave it a coat of wax and polish, and then turned it over. It was too big for the extended jaws that I have, so I ended up tightening it down with the tailstock and finished off the back of it. I finished it off with tung oil and then also put the wax and polish on the back as well. And I used the first a bit to drill at the base just to put my little stamp on it. And as I was doing it, I got the feeling that I was getting close to putting the hole right through the bowl. You get that sound that it makes when you're getting close to going right through, and I was getting that sound and getting that feel, but when I checked it, the bowl was about 10 mil thick, so I don't know, it just didn't feel right, but I didn't go through, luckily. I was able to put the sticker onto the bowl. So I finished one of those elm bowls, and I've got quite a few that I've roughed out, and they'll sit there for a while until I have a bit of time to turn them. And I had another project there. One of my work colleagues had a hammer and the handle had broken, and I turned a red gum handle for him, and that was about a month or so ago. Anyway, he's only used it once or twice, and it clean snapped in half. So obviously there was a weak point in the red gum. And it wasn't that long ago that Paul come over from the Ballarat area, and he brought over a red gum sleeper. And once I put it into the lathe, it did have a weak point and it did snap in half. So I don't know if it's just the red gum that does that, or I'm just unlucky to have two pieces to split on me. I said to Lee that I would make him another handle, and I got a piece of wood which I thought was yellow box. I've got quite a bit of yellow box, and I thought it'd be a great handle, and I thought this piece was, but once I started turning it, I found out that it was Messmate. But Messmate turned out quite nicely, and I turned it into a cylinder, and then off-centered the piece and made the handle. I did do a couple of little grip parts to it and put it back together again and gave it back to Lee. So hopefully this one lasts him a little bit longer. He's pretty good on his tools, so he doesn't abuse them. So I was a bit disappointed that the red gum split so easily. And then I still had some of the elm that I had turned early in the day on the bench, and I thought I'd do one of those honey dippers. I've seen them before, but I've never done one. And I go to a market at the end of the year. I only do the one market, and I thought a honey dipper would be okay to sell at the market. I've never done one before, and I don't really know what dimensions you'd use, so I thought I'd try it out. And I played around with this one using the elm, and it looked quite good. I ended up later in the day I turned another one, and I turned it a lot smaller. And I think this one here that I'm doing now is probably a little bit too big, but it might suit somebody. The other one's probably half the thickness of this one. So I'm not sure which one is the best. I'll take them both to the market and I'll see which one sells. But I took my time on this one and I enjoyed doing it. I ended up coating it with tung oil, and once I used the tung oil it really made the grain pop. And that was my day in the shed. I just tinkered a little bit while I had the fire going. Then about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, young Will come in and he wanted to go and watch one of his friends playing soccer at the next town. And so we travelled down. It was still raining when we got there. Once we got there we found out that they'd cancelled the game. But next door to the soccer there was a baseball game happening, and it was very animated. There was a bit of tension in the air when we got there, and we watched it for half an hour before going home. So that was my day spent in the shed. Probably spent the day just playing on the lathe. I really didn't do anything special, but it was quite enjoyable. And the day finished off nicely. Spent a bit of time with young Will, finding out a little bit about what he's been doing during the week. And the baseball match was quite interesting to watch. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. I'll see you next time. Cheerio.
Hey, Red, come on! Stop, 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 stop,